Arcueid turns toward the window too.
Nrvnqsr Nero.
Indeed. I have finally found you, princess of the true ancestors. She said she wouldn't leave the room. Then what am I here for? Oh dear. I should go check out what's happening outside. Sounds like a death wish.
Hi, I'm murderous Arcueid, back with Tsukihime. Last time, Shiki killed Arcueid, and she went and tracked us down afterwards, and was going to do some sort of possible killback-payback situation, but decided against it, and instead ended up recruiting us, and now we're going to go face that horrible vampire that disturbed our sleep the other night, and also has been causing all those horrible murders in town. So we finally have our little anime plot set up, and we're going to get into the story proper. This is a pretty nice room. I'd have no problem spending the night here.
Arcueid looks around the hotel room. I've got nothing to say for now.
My room has probably already been discovered, so let's hide out here for the night. Oh, and you don't have to worry about money. I'm rich, so I'll treat you. Arcueid, you beautiful woman, you. Of course she's rich. She's a princess.
Speaking cheerfully, Arcueid closes the curtains. She also turns off the lights, and the room becomes as dark as night. I sigh. What are you thinking, Arcueid?
I'm thinking about all sorts of stuff.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm asking why you've rented a high-class hotel, not a cheap one, and why you rented out the whole top floor.
She did just get finished explaining that she's rich, so she's obviously used to a certain quality of life.
I try to say this, but I stop. Right now, my job is to guard this so-called vampire and nothing more. I'm not going to ask any useless questions. No, forget it. Do whatever you like.
You're weird, Shiki. Suddenly getting mad and going silent like that? I just don't get you.
Arcueid lies on the bed, smiling like she's having fun.
I'm going to sleep until the sun sets. You'd better rest while you have the chance. Vampires don't move about in the daytime, so you'll be on guard for real during the night.
Do you realize that you just said something that completely contradicts your existence?
Oh, it's alright for me. Oh, I guess it's almost my limit. Good night, Shiki. Wake me up when the sun sets.
Hey! Like a machine whose power is cut off, Arcueid suddenly falls asleep. She's so defenseless. Right now I could run away if I wanted to. She did force me to come here with her after all. I could easily run away now. And I don't have that impulse anymore, but I even killed you once. Yet, how is she able to suddenly fall asleep despite that? I look at Arcueid's face as she sleeps on the bed. Her plump chest rises and falls. It looks like she's breathing, but her body isn't moving at all. It's like the air around her has stopped. It's so tranquil even I might stop moving. What a peaceful slumber. A kind of defenselessness, as if she had absolute trust in me, even though we've only just met. She's so stupid. She is so stupidly honest I might start to worry. But aside from that, this is a turning point. This may very well be the point of no return for Tono Shiki. I should be escaping after all, still I can't leave her alone. We're on Arcueid's route, we're not leaving her alone. I did promise, after all. No matter what it was I promised, I can't break it. Arcueid is sleeping. Her face is pale white, like that of a sick person. Arcueid said she was weak. She said she was at her limit just a while ago, so I don't think she considered what I could do to her after she went to sleep. The room is quiet. We're on the 11th floor, the top floor. Since she rented out the whole floor, there are no other guests here. The only sound is Arcueid's breathing. When I see her like this, she really looks nightmarishly beautiful. That white, smooth skin and that silky, light blonde hair, the soft lines of her body and those long eyelashes that look like swift brush strokes. A perfect body down to even the small details, the like of which I've never seen before. No, to be more precise, the kind I would never have seen in my entire life. Vampire or not, Arcueid is a girl. I have to take responsibility for the fact she's so weak now that she falls asleep almost instantly like she just did. You have to take responsibility for your own deeds. One part of my childhood education makes an appearance in my head. Sensei even told me, my eyes are strange, so they would in turn attract strange things. Then I should be prepared to take responsibility. At the very least, I should keep my promise and protect her for tonight. White. The kind you see when you wake up. The color that calls some nostalgic memories to mind. A hot summer day. A blue sky and large, large columns of summer clouds. The scenery slowly wavers in the heat. The voice of cicadas. The sound of cicadas. Cicada shells are lying in the clearing. As if the sun is right by my side, the clearing is roasting. A hot midsummer's day. As if the entire world became a frying pan. Akiha is crying. Akiha, who would always obediently stay close behind me, is brimming forth with tears. A child lies collapsed at her feet, soaked in blood, killed. The corpse of a child about my age. A cast-off cicada shell. My 2 hands are red with the blood of that collapsed child. Shiki! The adults are coming. The fallen child is still dead. The adults are yelling, "Did you kill him?" That dream. Okay, so this is pretty common for Shiki, actually, just randomly murdering people. A dream I had forgotten even in my dreams. I feel like I remember.
Shiki, hey, wake up. The sun's already set.
Someone is shaking me. A somewhat unfamiliar voice and the touch of a cold hand on my shoulder. Huh? Arcueid is standing right in front of me. She's already woken up and it's pitch black outside. I glance at the clock and it says it's already 8. Eh?
It's not I told you to wake me up when the sun went down, and you go and fall asleep.
Fred, sorry, I was feeling out of it. I don't remember when I fell asleep, but I'm sure it was while I was staring at Arcueid's sleeping face.
Jeez, you'll lose your qualification as a bodyguard like that. If the enemy had attacked while we were both sleeping, we could have both died, you know.
I said I'm sorry. Besides, you said it was safe during the daytime.
I can't say that for sure. Familiars like the one we saw this morning could have come for us.
Arcueid is angry. Well, she's got a right to be. I've got no right to talk when I, the bodyguard, dozed off while she was sleeping.
And besides, I am a vampire, you know. How can you just sleep there without feeling any danger? I don't want you to be afraid for no reason, but it'd be nice if you were at least tense enough not to sleep.
Hot kettle. I take that back. Arcueid doesn't seem to care that I didn't do my job as a bodyguard. She just doesn't seem to like the fact I fell asleep.
I can move my body a little better and wake up, only to find you sleeping there happily. You looked so vulnerable. I was seriously starting to feel uneasy that I might not have the dignity befitting a vampire.
Well, I don't think she has much dignity. You were just as vulnerable yourself. I killed you once before, remember? You can't guarantee I won't do it again, can you? Arcueid gives a surprised look, as if she only just realized it.
Now that you mention it, you're right. I wonder why I did that. I guess I just had complete confidence in you since we spoke in the alley.
Huh. Well, saying that doesn't make me feel bad for her. Okay. Since you trust me so much, I'll try my best. So should I just keep watch from now on?
Yeah, until sunrise tomorrow. I can't leave the room, so be on guard if someone comes up to this floor.
Be on guard, huh? Being on guard is going to do me no good if one of those black dogs from this morning comes for us. I let out a sigh. As expected, this is too heavy a role for me. Let me ask you something. Was the black dog that attacked us this morning something your enemy sent out?
I don't think so. It was probably for surveillance. His patrol route happened to pass through where you and I were talking, and it seems my presence was revealed as a result.
Revealed? To your enemy?
That's right. If I had been in perfect condition, it would actually save me some time, but right now it's the opposite. If I were attacked now, I'd be the one annihilated. That's why I have to hide out like this for now until my power returns.
Arcueid's enemy. In other words, the serial killer who's been causing the stir in this town. A vampire. Arcueid, I want to ask you something. Will you answer my question?
I don't mind talking, but why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Yeah, I haven't asked you the most important thing yet. So, what's your ultimate objective here?
Me? I'm here to hunt down the vampire. Killing vampires is my duty.
Yeah, I do remember you saying something like that before. But you're a vampire, right?
What? You still don't believe me?
Oh, don't worry, I believe you so much it hurts. I'm asking why would you, a vampire, claim to be doing something as odd as killing other vampires?
Oh, you don't like the idea of beings from the same species killing each other?
The act of killing doesn't exactly make my list of favorite things, but she is right. I'm not comfortable with the idea of vampires killing vampires. No, it's just that I can't really imagine something like that happening. Vampires drain the blood of humans, right? So they should be killing humans, not other vampires.
Drinking blood and killing are different things. Well, even so, I know what you're trying to say. You think beings from the same species should help each other out, right? But vampires can be of the same species and still be different life forms. That's why they don't really have what you humans call camaraderie.
Huh? Then you're saying something makes you different from the vampire you're hunting.
That's right. The one I'm after is a human vampire, just like the stereotypical vampire from your humans' folklore. He kills humans by draining their blood, turning them into the dead, then uses them to increase his power and influence. That's the sort of vampire I hunt. The one lurking in this town is that sort of old-style vampire.
That sort of vampire. It seems like there are different types. Don't tell me you want me to be your shield so you can get this guy.
Yeah, that was my original intent. But after talking to you, I've changed my mind. You see, at first I thought you were someone from the church, so I thought you might have information about the location of the enemy, but you turned out to be a perfectly ordinary person. You didn't even know about vampires, let alone the location of the enemy's coffin. Yeah, come to think of it, there's no way they'd send an exorcist to a Far East secular country like this one. I guess I didn't put enough thought into this.
Arcueid thinks aloud. Her conversation derails and I'm feeling a little left out. I don't follow you at all, Arcueid.
Hold on for a moment. Let's see. How should I explain this?
With that, Arcueid's gaze begins drifting. She doesn't seem used to holding a conversation. Don't worry about it and just explain everything about the current situation. I don't understand any of this, but I might be able to see the general gist of things.
Really? Thanks, Shiki.
You don't have to thank me. Just keep talking. Arcueid nods obediently.
Basically, the vampire currently in this town is an old-style vampire. He himself reigns as the Lord and releases the dead he made into the city. By doing so, he increases his power bit by bit. He is a typical vampire in that he drains the blood of humans, and those humans become vampires themselves. He's not very powerful right now, as he doesn't have many dead serving him, but as the victims increase, so does his power. It would be best to destroy the main body before that happens, but I haven't found where he sleeps yet. He's hidden so well right now I can't even feel his presence. Even so, it's easy to take care of things once I find it, but I don't have any clues whatsoever, so I had no choice but to walk around town during the day to investigate. But then I suddenly got attacked by a passing killer, and now I'm temporarily weaker than the enemy vampire.
Arcueid shoots me a cold look. I guess she wants to say something to the passing killer. I see. I kind of understand the situation now. So in other words, some evil monsters are based in this town, and you're here to eliminate them. Gosh, don't you love how they just keep repeating the same information over and over? It's fine, it's fine. Since you didn't know where they were, you went looking for them, and that's when I, killed you. So now you're weakened and hiding out while you recover, is that about right?
To put it simply, I think so.
Then, next is the main topic. You casually call yourself a vampire, but I still don't really understand that term. It's obvious you're not a human, that much I can see, but I don't get the feeling that you're a vampire either.
That's true. I'm a little different from the type of vampire you know about.
Indeed. I hadn't considered that vampires even existed at all, let alone a vampire like you. So, what makes you different? Arcueid thinks.
Yes, I suppose it might be helpful to teach you a bit about us. Alright. Then the first period's lessons will be Vampires 101.
Okay, but what's with Vampires 101?
You're an amateur at this, so we've got to start with the basics, right? That's why I'm going to start teaching from the very beginning.
Okay, whatever. Just keep it short.
Well, I'll try my best.
It really does seem like she's not used to talking. Well, we've got lots of time, so for now I guess I'll listen to Arcueid without complaint.
Although we're typically called simply vampires, we're divided into two main categories. Those who are vampires from the start, and those who become vampires. The former are called true ancestors, and the latter are called the dead apostles. The one you call vampires are the dead apostles. They drain the blood of humans and turn them into their slaves. They're weak against sunlight, and you can vanquish them with a baptism ritual. Our enemy is one of these dead apostles.
It's gone from my enemy to our enemy. Well, I don't mind. She's not wrong considering the situation I'm in now. So you're saying these dead apostles aren't vampires from the start. What do you mean by that?
Dead apostles were once humans. They've attained immortality through magic or had their blood sucked by one of the true ancestors. Either way, the ones that become vampires become immortal, even though it's imperfect immortality.
Those who are vampires from the beginning, and humans who became vampires. What is this? I get the feeling that there's some kind of huge contradiction to all this. It feels like some important fundamental is missing somewhere in this theory.
Oh, I think I found that contradiction right here. You see, the dead apostles had their blood sucked by one of the true ancestors. So the true ancestors that don't apparently need to suck blood, yeah, they're doing it anyway in order to make the dead apostles. So there's something funny shenanigans Ouroboros eating its tail going on here. But more will be revealed as we go, I'm sure. Hey, Shiki? How much do you know about vampire folklore?
Let's see, just the usual stuff. They suck the blood of virgins, they can bind people just by looking at them, they can turn into mist and wolves, just the usual stuff you hear about.
Yeah, that's pretty much all true. They drain the blood of virgins because one's blood cells are more pure before one has exchanged bodily fluids with others. Incorrect, there's no... whatever, it's fine. Anime purity logic applies. I don't know why. Wasn't this originally an H game? Seems like a silly thing to include, but whatever. That makes virgins most suitable for repairing the vampire's own degenerating genes. The dead apostles, the ones that become vampires, have imperfect immortality. Since they become immortal, they won't die from old age. However, they need to replenish their energy frequently or they'll disappear. All living creatures need nutrients to be able to move, right? It's the same thing. It's just that vampires don't die from age as long as they take in the nutrients. The dead apostles suck blood because they need it to stay alive. Immortality is a strain on their originally human bodies. The genes that compose their bodies are different. When they become vampires, they begin to degenerate at an incredible rate. To make up for that, they must drain the blood of others in order to absorb genetic information and stabilize their own bodies. That does not sound sustainable, but whatever. I think Daybreak tried to do a little something on that, it just didn't quite work as intended. To a vampire, drinking blood is not like eating, but it's the minimum requirement for them to continue to exist.
Huh. This sounds complex. Not really. And long. Yes, it's that. I can't follow the logic, but Arcueid nonetheless continues speaking.
So, moving on. The ability to bind someone with just a look is a type of mystic eyes. Eyes and words are both common types of magic circuits, so there are many vampires who have mystic eyes. We usually possess the mystic eyes of enchantment. We don't enchant people by looking at them, rather we enchant those who look into our eyes. A powerful vampire using mystic eyes can impose his own will into the brain of another and completely dominate their thoughts. But the mystic eyes of a dead apostle doesn't have that much power. What you call turning into mist is really just making a spare body and controlling it via the will. Once the part serves its purpose, you cut the flow of magical energy to the offshoot and naturally it returns to dust. Wolves and other animal transformations are a byproduct of vampires repairing its damaged body from its familiars. For a vampire living a long time, stabilizing their bodies with normal lives is not sufficient. Humans are not fundamentally powerful animals, so it's more effective to repair one's body by absorbing beasts, as they surpass the human species in this respect. Vampires who repair their own bodies with beasts can return those beasts to their previous forms and use them as familiars when they need to. From what I've heard, there's even a 1,000-year-old vampire whose body is made up entirely of familiars. They say he contains 666 beasts within his body, or something like that anyway.
Huh. I think Arcueid's getting a little too wrapped up in her own speech. Nope, this is new information. For once, it's kind of nice. To be honest, I'm not finding this world easy to understand.
Yeah, that's about it. It's just an explanation of the very basics, but now do you know what a vampire is?
Well, I suppose. The reality of Arcueid being a vampire begins to feel harder and harder to accept.
Now it's my turn. Actually, there's something important I've forgotten to ask you, too.
What? You're not gonna learn anything from me. I'm not a vampire or anything, just an ordinary student.
Then let me ask you this, Shiki. How exactly did you kill me?
Huh?
I'm asking about the method you used. I'm resistant against stuff like runes and Kabbalah, so those don't work on me. The only things I'm not resistant against is magic I've yet to experience, which is probably limited to ancient Shinto in this country and the treasures in South America. No, not even those could kill me that much. Answer me, Shiki. What kind of occult artifact did you use to incapacitate me to that degree?
Occult artifact? What's that?
A catalyst which stores ideas and history. Geez, you've got sacred treasures in this country too, don't you? They're usually something like staves and swords, jewels and masks, conceptual weapons that can be used against nature itself. Come on, Shiki. Are you sure you're not someone from one of those fields?
What field? I told you I'm just a student. I don't know anything. Well, we know about the knife, and we know about your mystic eyes, so... yeah, you're not being totally forthcoming here, Shiki.
That's a lie. There's no way a human who's not even a magus can hurt me. Are you hiding something from me, Shiki?
Arcueid gives me an angry cat-like stare. But even if she looks at me like that, I'm not hiding anything. Oh, wait. It finally occurred to him. Actually, there is one thing. I'm not sure whether it's relevant, but Arcueid is still staring at me. It doesn't seem like I'll be able to keep quiet about it. Alright, I'll tell you, but how should I put this? I can see these lines that can be used to cut things.
Eh?
Oh. She's stunned. She should be. Normally, I don't think anyone would believe a story like this.
What do you mean?
Arcueid asks in a serious tone. She's not exactly normal. I should have known she would defy my expectations in a good way. I mean, I see these lines where things can be cut. Living things, the ground, anything touchable. It's like a black line, and I can cut things clean when I let anything sharp through it. Does that mean anything to you? It's convenient to be able to cut steel with a knife and all, but it's not like I can cut it anywhere I like. I can only cut things where I can see the lines. And when I cut you, well, you can cut a girl's skin with just a knife, right? Arcueid's eyes are serious as she glances at me, those wild eyes that I've seen only once before. A gaze that could stop my breathing.
I see. I thought the mystic eyes of death perception only existed in fairy tales. But I guess there is someone who can use them. A mutated monster like you.
What? I don't think a vampire can call me a monster.
A monster is a monster. There isn't anyone, even amongst us with mystic eyes, that can see the death of things.
See the death of things? Arcueid nods in affirmation with an inimical gaze.
A circuit must have opened in your eyes, Shiki. Were you born with eyes like that?
No. They became like this a long time ago, but I wasn't born with them.
Then you must have had at least one near-death experience at some point, right?
What? It's true. 8 years ago, I got in an accident where I almost died.
Just as I suspected. You had the latent ability, but that must have been the trigger. The mystic eyes of death perception, huh? Yes, with those you could definitely kill even me.
With a small sigh, Arcueid's eyes returned to normal. Arcueid, do you know something about these lines?
Not to the extent you would, but I do have some information. What you see is the end of all things, the point where things die easily. To put it simply, the time of death for everything in existence. That is, death itself.
I remember now. That time, when Sensei gave me these glasses, she had told me something similar to what Arcueid said. But there's a subtle difference to what Sensei said and what Arcueid said. What I'm seeing are only lines and not something as disturbing as death. What are you saying? What I see are just the lines where things can be cut.
I'm telling you, those lines are the death of the object. Listen, Shiki. Everything in existence has an end. There are differences to when, but it's an end nonetheless. Death does not arrive. It is already contained within the object at its creation, and it's bound to happen someday. This is what is called the principle of causality. You've heard of that before, right? As long as something has an origin, it must have an end. When it will end is determined from its beginning. That's its so-called time of death. So, as it already exists from the beginning, it's not impossible for one to see it with their eyes, given that they can comprehend the concept of a time of death. And they have the appropriate circuit in their brain and eyes. That's the truth behind those lines you see. This is nothing more than the general concept, but if I were to theorize, I would say that they are the weakest part of the joints between the molecules in something, or perhaps a pre-designated switch within the genetic makeup that activates the death of that object. But that doesn't really make sense. I can't see them, so I can't say for sure, but the lines aren't all you can see, are they? I would think that there would be points more than lines.
That's right. When I first saw Arcueid, when I wasn't myself, when I took off my glasses, I could see the usual scribbles and black points where the scribbles seemed to flow from. There were... It only happened that one time, but definitely, I saw black points. There were several on your body, and the black lines flowed between them, joining them up. If I had to make an analogy, I would say they were like blood vessels.
I see. The lines where things die easily, and death itself, huh? I'm surprised you stayed alive up until now like this. You must have a very tranquil heart, Shiki.
Arcueid says this philosophically. In my own way, I understand what she's saying, but I don't want to believe any of it. What? There's no way that sort of thing exists, let alone me being able to see it.
Well, you are seeing it. Usually when you cut a living being's neck, they die. This means it stops because you've cut it. Conversely, you can say if you can't cut something's neck, it won't die. This is about me, so just consider it an exception. But in your case, you can ignore the cause. Even against that which is immune to all external effects, you kill first. What is killed then becomes dead. It's not that it stopped because you cut it, but in your case you stopped the object, and as a result, it is cut. See? What else can I call you but a monster? You may just call them lines along which something can be cut, but those eyes are more special than those possessed by any other user of supernatural power in history. You, Shiki, have the eyes that can kill anything, just like death itself.
I'm at a loss for words. If that really is what I see, just like Arcueid is saying, those black lines really are the time of death for all things. Then everything around me is filled with death. So what? If it's all as you say, I should be able to kill even you.
Really? Then let's try it.
Arcueid opens the curtains. The lights are off. The only illumination is the faint moonlight coming in through the window.
Come on, it's all right. Try it, seriously. Wait. Could it be you can't see them with those glasses on?
Are you sure about this? Yeah, girl, he already did it once before. I take my glasses off, only to see the lines, of course. At the same time, the room begins to wreathe with the black lines. Outside the window, the moon is white. They're difficult to see in the daytime due to the strong sunlight, but under the faint moonlight, I can even see the glow coming from the lines. Amidst them, the lines on Arcueid's body are very thin. If I don't concentrate, I lose sight of them altogether.
If I hadn't been killed by you, I don't think you'd be able to see any at all. But right now, you can probably see them. You see, although I have no times of death during the night, some do appear during the day. You could kill me because it was during daytime, but you can see my time of death during nighttime now, since I've used up a lot of energy to regenerate myself. In other words, I've lost my immortality. So, can you cut the lines on my body, Shiki?
Let's see. I think I probably could, since the lines are there, but I don't think I could do it so briskly and without hesitation like that time before. I think it'd be hard. The lines keep fading in and out, so I probably couldn't do it unless you're sleeping.
You can't, right? That's your biggest weak point. No matter how many deaths you can see, you need to trace the line with your own hands. No matter how weak I am right now, my athletic ability isn't so low that I'd be caught by you.
I see. Come to think of it, I can't catch agile animals. That means I can't touch their bodies. In other words, even if I can see its lines, I can't kill anything that moves. Ow! I feel a stab of pain run through my head. Looking at the lines gives me a headache, just like it did when I was a child. I put on my glasses and the world returns to normal. Arcueid is staring intently at me. What? Is there something else?
No, that's not it. You can't see the lines if you put those glasses on.
Yeah. I got them from someone a long time ago, when my eyes first became like this. I'm only using the lenses now, but thanks to them I can lead a normal life.
Yes, I see. No matter how strong a mind you may have, your only choices when faced with death all the time would be to put out your eyes or go mad.
Saying that, Arcueid comes closer.
Hey, can I take a look at them?
No. These are important to me. I'm not handing them over to you.
Come on, I'm not gonna break them. I'm just gonna look at them.
Arcueid creeps closer. I get the feeling she wouldn't be adverse to getting them by force. Oh dear, she wants our glasses. Oh no. Fine, only for a little bit. No, I have a bad feeling about it. Okay. It sounds like if we give them to her, maybe nothing will go wrong. If we say no, he already kind of implied that she's gonna fight us for it, which increases the likelihood of them actually breaking. You know, technically on accident, but, either way, if she wants them broken, they're gonna get broken. So, okay, fine, just for a little bit. Please be kind to us, Arcueid. Arcueid doesn't look like she's gonna give up. Fine. Give them back as soon as you're done looking. Uh-oh. The background changed. This was maybe the bad decision. I hand her my glasses. Arcueid stares intently at the glasses and then looks at me with frightening eyes.
Shiki, is the person who made these glasses in this city right now?
I don't think she is. It's been 8 years, and it seems like she was only here for a week.
I see. That's good. I don't have to deal with more... Well, it's probably safer not to deal with Blue in the first place anyway.
Arcueid retreats to her thoughts. Arcueid, you know Sensei? I mean, the person who made these glasses?
I know her. A sorceress. She is one of only 4 of her kind. These glasses are truly a masterpiece. Even I can't break them.
Arcueid's face grows even more serious. Wait, you were gonna break them?
Eh? Did I say that part out loud?
I knew it. You were gonna break them after all. I retrieved the glasses from Arcueid. Jeez. You're the one who just said I couldn't stay sane without these glasses. Or do you want me to go crazy?
That's not what I meant. I just didn't like how you treasured them so much.
Hey, listen, you... Jeez. Somebody please tell me how a mind like hers works. It's true my memories of Sensei are precious to me, but more importantly, I can't live without them. If I were to see the lines 24 hours a day, I think I'd die from the headache before I went mad.
I suppose there must be a strain on your brain from being able to see death. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of reason for those eyes of yours, but this is all I can tell you for now. If we get the chance later, I'll go over it in a little more detail.
That's alright. I'm not into long stories anyway.
Is that so? Personally, I enjoy talking to other people.
Arcueid gives a carefree laugh. It really does seem like she enjoys doing nothing more than talking. Night descends. Arcueid sits on the bed, and we both stare absent-mindedly at the clock. It's past 4 in the morning. About an hour until dawn. Just one more hour? Nothing out of the ordinary has happened until now. Nothing out of the ordinary has happened up until now, and Arcueid shows no signs of tension. We're surrounded by complete tranquility. Somehow I'm beginning to believe that tonight might just end like this.
Hey, Shiki.
Arcueid calls me again. What? I don't have anything else to talk about.
Really? But it's such a waste not to talk, now that we're in a situation like this.
Listen, how many hours do you think I've had to put up with your nonsense talking? 6 hours. That's making me more tired than keeping watch. Arcueid gives me a dissatisfied glare. That's right. For some reason, Arcueid has been talking to me for 6 hours straight. I told her she should sleep if she was feeling weak, but she replied with, "It's more fun to talk." So in the end, we ended up facing each other and talking the whole time. I just don't know what she's thinking. To top things off, I'm hungry. Come to think of it, my last meal was breakfast, so I haven't eaten anything for a whole day.
Why don't you eat something if you're hungry? We're in a fancy hotel after all, so you can call room service.
That's okay. I'd lose my sense of tension if I filled my stomach now. More importantly, shouldn't you be getting something to eat? You're weakened, but you aren't sleeping, so you should at least get something to eat.
If you're not going to eat, then neither am I. Normal food is meaningful in its own way, but it's boring to eat by myself.
Normal food? There's nothing normal or special about... Ah, wait. Arcueid is a vampire. I suppose to her, food would mean drinking someone's blood. Or is there... I guess being a vampire, you wouldn't usually consume much except blood. She doesn't look like it, but Arcueid is a vampire. She says vampires need the blood of humans to survive. Then, just how many people has she drained blood from? And how many people has she killed before? I sneak a quick glance at her face. I can't imagine. Even though I know she's a vampire, for some reason I can't imagine her sucking anyone's blood.
What? Is there something on my face?
She meets my gaze and I quickly look away. Arcueid continues to stare at me and then gives a laugh of comprehension.
Are you curious?
About what?
About how many people I've sucked blood from.
She's completely read my mind. Arcueid's smile grows even wider, and I don't like it. Well, of course I'm curious. I am helping you, so if I don't know, I won't have any idea about when you might have a change of heart and try to attack me. That would really be a problem.
I see.
Arcueid says.
Well then, here's a question. How many people's blood have I sucked so far?
She bounces lightly up from the bed and walks to the window.
How many people? That's...
Arcueid gives a cheerful smile and silently looks in my direction with an air of delight. Dang it, it's obvious she's trying to provoke me. Fine, I'll answer. Let's see, it has to be in the hundreds?
Sorry, you're off.
Then even in the thousands?
Nope, that's wrong too.
Arcueid laughs like it's so funny. Somehow this feels really frustrating. Dang. Then, well, I doubt it's the case, but in the tens?
That's wrong too. Oh, really? Tens, hundreds, thousands? Do you really see me as that sort of person? That's so mean. That would make me indiscriminate.
Am I wrong? Vampires are indiscriminate, aren't they? Even humans get hungry merely by being alive, and when it's a matter of life and death for you, you wouldn't be picky either.
Yes, that's true, but I haven't tasted blood these last 800 years. Nor have I ever killed an ordinary human.
Eh? Wait, is that true?
It's the truth. After all, I'm afraid of sucking blood.
Huh? Afraid of sucking blood? You've got to be kidding, right? A vampire that's afraid of sucking blood? Why?
I suppose I'm a coward. That's why I'm a failure as a vampire.
Arcueid grumbles as she looks up at the night sky from the window. She stays like that for a long time, continuing to look up at the sky. Her white back looks vague, hazed over, as if she was merely an illusion. I see. A failure. I whisper, and I feel relieved. Somehow, that makes me happy. Of course, it's only natural to be relieved, because now I know the person that's standing before me isn't some kind of vicious, evil being. For now, if I were to believe what she says, I won't just be killed by her at random. So, I'm safe. I'm safe, but I feel like that's not the only reason I'm relieved. Dang it, what's wrong with me? Being relieved over something like this, how can I be happy over something like Arcueid being a failure? Suddenly I feel a faint dizziness.
Shiki? What's wrong? You're sweating an awful lot.
No, it's just this twinge of pain in my head. I realize something with a shock as I reply to Arcueid. The window behind Arcueid. Beyond the glass, within the city streets, still sunken in the darkness of night, a blue crow is looking in my direction. That's I can do no more than stare at its dim figure through the window. Arcueid turns toward the window too.
Nrvnqsr Nero.
Indeed. I have finally found you, princess of the true ancestors. From somewhere, a force of will flows into the room. Arcueid's eyes are full of enmity. Outside the window, the crow gives a loud, high-pitched scream. This is it! I am heading there right now! The blue crow flies off. All that remains is the dark of night and the white moon. Suddenly, boom! With a heavy noise, the room shakes violently. No, to be more precise, the entire hotel shook from that impact. What the heck? I get up from the bed. Arcueid is silent, biting her lip with a vexed expression. Arcueid, that shaking just now. She doesn't answer. Say something. That wasn't an earthquake, was it? If I had to guess, it felt more like someone had driven a large dump truck into the hotel lobby at full speed. It was that kind of impact. Arcueid! She doesn't answer. If I listen closely, I can hear noises from downstairs. Arcueid's face is grave. She said she was powerless right now. That's probably why she's not saying anything. Only time passes by. 2 minutes? It's been 2 minutes after the impact, but the hotel is awfully quiet. Arcueid remains silent and still, just biting her lip as if withstanding something. I can see a trail of red blood slowly flowing down from her lip. Arcueid! Is she worried? Frustrated? She remains still, almost as if she's embracing herself, bearing with something. She said she wouldn't leave the room. Then, what am I here for? Oh dear. I should go check out what's happening outside. Sounds like a death wish. Stay inside the room for now and keep watch. It's technically what she requested, but it's also kind of spineless. I don't know. Does Shiki have his knife with him? Let me put it this way. In Fate Stay Night, there were plenty of options where it's like the safe option was the one you did not want to pick because that was a surefire way to die. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that we're working off the same logic, at least until I'm proven otherwise. This is the obvious safe option, but this is the obvious YOLO option, which Fate Stay Night logic says, always pick the YOLO option, it's the only way you'll actually survive. That's right, you want to run at Hercules with your sword drawn at full speed, not run away with Rin, because that's a way to get killed. So, you know, always do the YOLO option. That's how you survive in Nasuverse, maybe. We'll find out. I'm gonna go check out what's outside. You know, being an idiot. Alright. I've decided what to do from the very beginning. Taking the knife out of my pocket, I walk up to the door. Good, he has his knife. Excellent.
Shiki?
I'm gonna check things out. Don't leave this room until I come back. I step out into the hallway, shaking off Arcueid's look that she wants to say something. No one is in the hallway. I couldn't hear from inside, but the hallway is noisy. It's not that this floor is noisy, rather the noise is coming from beneath my feet. There is some kind of ruckus on the floor below. I can hear the noise of many people talking. I suppose the impact just woke the guests and they are complaining to the hotel. Doesn't look strange so far. I walk down the hallway. The noise from downstairs is like the sound of ocean waves. Noisy, and yet so very solitary and inactive. My fingers gripping the knife feel numb. A chill runs over the back of my neck. There's something near my temple. Pain emerges from the back of my eyes. Enduring it, I walk down the hallway. It hurts. My eyes hurt. My head grows heavy and I feel a drifting sensation, like I'm about to collapse right here. Yeah, I know what this is. Without a doubt, this is the feeling I get right before I collapse from anemia. It hurts. It hurts. Unable to withstand it any longer, I remove my glasses. I can see the elevator. A long hallway. It must be more than 10 meters from here to the elevator. And then, with a ding-dong, the elevator comes up to the 11th floor. I can see the lines on the elevator door. No, they're too dense. They look almost pitch black. The door opens. The small steel box opens. Inside that box, crammed to the point of overflowing, is human flesh. Inside that steel box called an elevator, the red meat of humans is ground and pushed in. Inside, 2 black dogs are voraciously feasting away on something. What? I stop breathing. Like my brain, which just froze, my lungs stop as well. I can't breathe, but that isn't important. My vision turns crimson. With a bubbling sound, blood pours out of the elevator. Amidst the ocean of blood, people, arms, feet, bones, brains, fingers, organs, and other parts, the 2 black dogs are the only form of life. My very instincts refuse to take in this scene. Down the hallway, 2 black dogs are picking at the human corpses. If I listen carefully, I can still hear sounds coming from downstairs. If I listen carefully, they are the sounds of gorging, the chewing of meat, cries for help, and the death screams of people which can't even be called words anymore. What is this? Though there is no way I can see it, before my eyes is the image of dozens of beasts eating the people in the hotel alive. A man running down the hallway trying to escape, but the panther-like claws descending from the ceiling slice him open from his nose to the back of his head. A girl locking herself up in a room and crying, but to the lions, a door is no stronger than paper, and within seconds they demolish it into an unrecognizable shape. Striving madly to be the first ones there, people dashing for the elevator, but within it, the black dogs waiting inside decapitate them the instant the doors open. At any rate, there is no exception. Beneath my feet, within this huge box called the hotel, is a scene from hell I can feel down to my very bones. Gah. I feel like throwing up, but I can't do that. If I just stand around and do that, I'll become part of that Red Sea. I resume my breathing. I grit my teeth hard. The dogs inside the elevator notice me. All sounds from below have ceased. In other words, there is no longer anyone alive. The 2 black dogs begin to run. Of course, towards me, the last prey. The black dog is coming for me. On their bodies I can see an infinite number of lines, and on their foreheads, the point of death. But even so, my paralyzed mind does not order my body to fight or run. Wait, you don't fight them? Okay, I may have made the bad decision. The first black dog leaps. Its speed belies all human comparison. It doesn't even take 2 seconds to cover the 10 meters down the hallway. They open their mouths. Mouths filled with fangs so many times sharper than the knife I have, and they are aimed straight at my throat. Accurate and fast. The instant I realize they are drawing upon me, the fangs bite into my throat with a crunch. I die. But that's not right. I can't be killed by something like this, and I refuse to die. The deaths of others would not cause me to hesitate. A hot summer's day. It happened long ago, 8 years ago. I've seen something even more terrible. Thrust. I thrust my knife into the forehead of the black dog biting into my neck. My arm moved just before the black dog ripped through my throat. There you go, Shiki! It was done so perfectly, even for myself. Like a machine whose sole function is to cut, I plunged the knife into the dog's forehead without any useless and wasted movement. Because that is where the first dog's point was. Normally, even if the brain is destroyed, the muscles try to execute the commands they've received from the brain. The black dog would have probably ripped through my throat even if I had simply pierced its head. Well, normally that would happen. But the black dog is dead. Death is a complete stoppage. At the point when I killed it, it lost every form of validity. The first dog falls onto the ground. In its place, the second dog is flying straight at my face. I thrust the knife right into its open mouth. But that was a mistake. The dog's point is not on its face, but on its chest. Just stabbing it in the mouth will not kill it. The knife pierces through the dog's mouth and into the back of its head. Naturally, the hand holding the knife still remains in the dog's mouth. Ah. The black dog is still alive. Its jaw shuts. The joint between my arm and the hand holding the knife is bitten, about to be ripped apart. Proper thought returns with the pain. Ah. You have to be kidding me. It's as if I'm just letting him chew through my arm by stabbing him in the mouth. Why, you... I try to pull my arm out. The dog's teeth are deep in my arm. It doesn't seem like I can pull it off. More importantly, this black dog, despite having been pierced in the head, is still filled with life. Even though I lift it after piercing its head, it shakes and lands on top of me. Ugh. I fall onto the floor. I still can't pull my arm out. The black dog, still pierced in the head, applies more power to its bite. My arm is surely going to be torn off. I can't believe this. No dog ought to be able to bite anything in that state. You... I feel something wet. I can see blood slipping from the black dog's mouth. Is it the black dog's blood leaking from its knife wound to the head? Or is the blood coming from my arm about to be torn off? To be honest, my head is too messed up to be feeling the pain, so it isn't a big deal which one it is. Let go! I try to wrestle away from the black dog, but it is firmly attached to my arm. I can't escape. I can't run away. If I want to escape, I have no choice but to kill it. But how? The hand it's biting off is the one holding the knife. I'm on the ground, so even supposing I did pull my hand out, the very next instant the black dog's mouth would be free to bite through my throat. It's okay. Calm down, Shiki. First, you've got to examine the situation well, and then think calmly about it. That's the kind of thinking you've always kept. In that case, I can do something. For example, there's plenty of lines on the back of its head, and I can see the black point on its chest. The way to survive is awfully simple, but I have my doubts about executing this plan. No matter how savage and evil a creature it is, to do something like kill a panting and gasping creature that's so alive this close to me, it's something I'm hesitant to do. The pressure on my arm increases. My entire arm is shortly going to be ripped off at this rate, but even so, I just can't seem to do something so cruel. The red blood drips down onto my face. Going down my forehead, it drips into my eyes. Crimson darkness soaks into the back of my eyes. Red. My consciousness sways, and then is gone. But even so, I can't bring myself to kill a living creature. What hypocrisy. You've killed something much bigger than a mere dog. Yes, that's right. But that time was different. I wasn't sane when it was Arcueid. Even when I killed the other black dog just a moment ago, that was unrelated to my will. But right now, this is very much my own will. Didn't Sensei say, Shiki? Use this power according to your own will and no one else's. That's why, as myself right now, I could never take a life for granted. That, too, is hypocrisy. Because long ago, you... that is a nightmare from my childhood. I'm starting to suspect most of your nightmares were actually real things that happened. See? What are you waiting for? It was a hot summer's day. Kill or be killed. Before my eyes, the blood-soaked shadow of a boy. You've already... hot red blood on my hands. Haven't you killed someone once before? Ah! I thrust. I don't pull, but rather thrust deeper into the black dog's head. I can hear its yelping right in front of me. I think the black dog is crying out. With my arm in its mouth, I could not properly cry, but it's crying anyway. I'm sure that's how much it must hurt. I don't care. I plunge the knife in deeper along with my arm. Without a sound, the blade of the knife punctures out the back of the black dog's head.